Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you've been following along, you might remember that back in April, we shared a video all about how to set up your own daycare facility, from finding a space, dealing with the landlords, and navigating the design process to applying for building permit with the city. Well, we are excited to announce that we are back with part 2. This time, we'll be diving into the construction process. I know it's been a while since our last update. After we received the building permit approval for our own brand Dream Builder Early Learning Center, things got pretty busy with the construction, and we wanted to make sure everything was just right before sharing it with you. But the wait is finally over, and the construction is now complete. I'm currently shooting this video in the lobby of a daycare facility we built. In this video, we will walk you through the entire construction process from the very beginning to the final touches. Since we already talked about initial setup of a daycare facility in part 1, this video will focus on what happens after that, the actual building process. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, no worries. We will include a link in the description so you can catch up. Trust me, it'll help make everything in this video click. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Here is the overview of the construction process. Our journey began in May 2023 before we acquired the space, located in a commercial zone and surrounded by residential area. We found the site to be perfect for daycare, sandwiched between Save-On Food and Starbucks next to a busy road. After completing all the paperwork, design work, and permitting, we were finally approved for start construction in May 2024. Before obtaining building permit approval, quotations were obtained from various trades including plumbing, electrical, HVAC, and carpentry. At least 3 separate quotes were received and the best one was chosen. Next, the unit was cleaned by removing drywall that was not part of the plan. Following that, floor was carefully scanned in advance to identify any potential issues with the underground piping before beginning the trenching process. This step was crucial to avoid any unexpected complications later. Since demolition rules can vary by city, it is recommended to check with the local authority before starting this work. With the city approval in hand, we began the construction process. The first step was trenching for the underground piping. This involved excavating the floor based on our earlier scanning and laying the necessary piping. After laying out the piping, the plumbing engineer conducted a field review to ensure everything was up to standard and per the drawing. After the city's inspection was successfully passed, the next step was to pour concrete to cover the piping. Then the installation of the ductwork began. Following this, the walls began to take shape with the completion of the framing, followed by the installation of above-ground plumbing and electrical wiring. Gypsum wallboards were then installed on the framed walls, and the mudding work was done. For those unfamiliar with the process, mudding involves applying thin coats to the gypsum board to cover imperfection and bumps, making it smooth for easier paint application. Afterward, we test painted and decided on different pastel tones to stimulate and promote creative thinking in children. We have been using T-bar ceilings in most of daycare, and we installed T-bar frames along with the electrical wiring and lighting fixtures. In some areas like reception, an open ceiling design was chosen to create a welcoming atmosphere, accented with the styling pendant lighting. Once the T-bar ceiling was almost complete, we moved on to the flooring. Laminate flooring was selected for its durability, especially in high traffic area where children love to run and play. This choice not only holds up well over time, but is also a cost-effective option that doesn't sacrifice style. Next, cabinets and countertops were installed in key areas such as teacher's lounge, washrooms, reception, and cubbies, providing both storage and functionality. With the countertops in place, essential fixtures and appliances like sinks, faucets, dishwashers, and under-counter fridges were added. After all the major work was completed, the construction site was thoroughly cleaned and made sure everything was spotless and ready for inspection. We then obtained the occupancy permit and Fraser Health's licensing approval. Now, let's talk about outdoor play area, which took about 3 weeks to complete. The trade began by laying out the spaces based on our design, then started digging for posts and bollards. Fence posts and the concrete curves were set up, and bollards were added. Meanwhile, another team worked on rubber foams and site preparation for rubber flooring and artificial turf. While bollard installation was ongoing, others focused on rubber curing and turf installation. A custom play structure for children was then added. Lastly, the site was cleaned up and is now ready to use. Both the tenant improvements and the outdoor play area are finished. If you made this far, thank you so much for watching our video. For more contents like this, feel free to follow our social media pages where we constantly update with the new information. Thank you and see you in the next one.